In the Arctic region of Norway stands some of the world's most expansive landscapes, mountainous regions, vast coastlines, and abundant wildlife. These unique natural settings are matched by vibrant urban centers, home to some of Norway's finest research facilities and learning institutes. Canada and Norway are among the 8 countries within the Arctic Circle. Often called the Land of Midnight Sun, the area above the Arctic Circle accounts for 35% of Norway's mainland and is home to 9% of our population of 5.5 million people. The indigenous Sami people can be found across the region and in neighboring countries, carrying with them ways of life that have been passed down over generations. Vital industries remain an important part of the region's identity, with fisheries, tourism, IT services, and innovative maritime technologies experiencing a decade of strong growth in the north.
Arctic cooperation is really a high priority for Norway, and we continue to work with our friends and partners around the world to mitigate the impact of climate change and to foster innovation in the region. And I must say, there are a lot of optimism in the northern part of Norway. Our businesses and our research institutions are working really hard to create green and blue business and green and blue technology. And this is a part of the struggle to preserve this unique region for future generations.
In the Norwegian Arctic, our domestic policy and our foreign policy are closely intertwined. The Arctic matters to Norway, to Canada, and increasingly, to the rest of the world. Globally, there are around 4 million people currently living in the circumpolar Arctic, with around 10% being indigenous populations and around 10% living in the Norwegian Arctic. The population in northern Norway has been growing, but is facing the same urbanization trend as the rest of the world, with some people moving to bigger cities in other parts of the country. New solutions are needed in order to foster viable and attractive communities, including building more sustainable infrastructure and environmentally friendly towns and cities for the future.
So the Norwegian government aims to support the development of cultural activities, recreational activities, and sports activities to make the High North a really attractive place to live in and to make local communities thrive.
Attractive towns and cities serve many important purposes, attract people and businesses, and contribute to population balance between regions. Creating them requires joint efforts by national and local governments to encourage compact and pleasant towns with attractive physical surroundings, lively downtown areas, a variety of housing options, and sustainable transportation. Northern Norway is home to some of our leading academic and research institutions, with important focus areas like marine research, fisheries, natural resource management, climate change, environmental research, Arctic innovation, and sustainable ocean-based industries. This is the heart of the blue economy. With university education that is tuition-free for both national and international students, Norway is able to attract bright minds from all over the world, fostering continued growth and prosperity for the next generation of innovators. Norway's ambassador to Canada completed his graduate studies at the Arctic University of Norway in Tromsø.
The city of Tromsø is known as the Paris of the North, so it really has everything a student could desire in his or her life. The university has several centers of excellence, and I know that the university is also working closely with several Canadian universities. So no offense to the Ivy Leagues of this world, but I couldn't think of a better place for a young person to study than in Tromsø.
In 2020, Norway set up a youth panel to provide input and recommendations for developing Norway's Arctic policy for the future. The panel's report made it clear that young people want to be included more widely in international cooperation in the Arctic. Engaged youth also noted the need to enhance the framework for education and skill development in the outlying districts and to improve conditions for young entrepreneurs in the north, including ensuring better access to capital. Norway intends to promote closer cooperation between the business community and the higher education sector with the goal of increasing the number of attractive jobs in the North. Although northern Norway is much smaller than Canada's northern territories, developing infrastructure can be a challenging and daunting task. High transportation costs and unpredictable weather conditions may pose discouraging obstacles for new businesses that are hoping to settle. Digitalization and innovation are key to moving forward. The rollout of 5G networks will soon boost access to public services and ease of doing business in northern Norway. Modernizing and improving infrastructure can support and create new jobs in urban centers in the north, and this must be encouraged through both legislation and funding. To improve connectivity, a majority in Parliament has supported extending the Nordland railway line all the way to Tromsø.
Norway and Canada are both seeing a huge increase in traffic within the Arctic. We know that the fishing fleets are moving further north with the climate change. We have seen a dramatic increase also in the cruise traffic, and that really impacts the environment. And we also see new routes are being developed. I think this demands from both our countries that we really work with environmental issues and work with transportation issues to have a sustainable future in the Arctic.
This rise in maritime activity could increase the frequency of accidents, which is why the Norwegian government has appointed a committee to consider new search and rescue related challenges. A new test facility will be built, and the towing capacities will be strengthened in the north. Internationally, the Arctic Coast Guard Forum works to foster safe, secure, and environmentally responsible maritime activity in the Arctic. Norway has strong and well-established relations with all our neighbors in the north, including broad-based cooperation in areas such as fisheries, research, the environment, search and rescue, nuclear safety and security, health, education, business, energy, and not least culture, people-to-people contacts, and indigenous issues. Dialogue across borders is crucial.
So the Arctic region is a peaceful region and is guided by the same laws that applies everywhere else. And I would especially like to mention the UN law of the high seas. And also the Arctic Council is the main body for peaceful cooperation in the region, with the participation of all 8 Arctic nations of 6 indigenous organizations recognized by the Council.
The Arctic Council's mandate is to cover issues relating to climate change, the environment, and sustainable economic development. The United Nations Convention of the Law of the Sea provides the fundamental framework when it comes to environmental protection, research, international borders at sea, and shipping. Norway supports cooperation with non-Arctic states based on respect for international law and within the framework of existing cooperation structures. Other regional organizations, such as the Euro-Arctic Barents Cooperation and the Northern Dimension Cooperation, are also active in the region with Norwegian participation. However, the current security climate globally, the search for marine resources, and the importance of the Arctic as a laboratory for climate change are leading to growing international interest in the region.
Of course, there are security issues arising in the Arctic from climate change and from a lot of out-of-area attention. The notion that some people have that the Arctic is a sort of a lawless frontier is simply not true, and that should not guide anyone's view of the region.
To counter misconceptions of the Arctic, Norway engages globally to inform and share our perspectives. Public policy papers and open discussion in Parliament are also meant to make Norwegian strategy in the Arctic transparent and accessible to all. Norway and Canada are both founding members of the NATO alliance. We conduct military exercises and training in the north, which, together with our international allies, are a sign of solidarity and important to maintain security and peace in the north and elsewhere. As close allies, Norway and Canada work to keep the Arctic stable and peaceful. Rising global temperatures continue to impact fragile ecosystems and communities within our Arctic regions. The Arctic is warming at more than twice the global average rate, and the effects are clearly visible. The extent of the sea ice is shrinking, snow and glaciers are melting, The permafrost is thawing, precipitation patterns are changing, and wildfires are becoming more frequent. It is vitally important that the world succeeds together in achieving the long-term temperature target of the Paris Agreement. Everyone and every country must contribute.
As maritime nations, all the 8 Arctic states have a special responsibility to engage in having healthy oceans and productive oceans. Norway and Canada are deeply engaged in this work, and both our prime minister sit on the high-level ocean panel. And this is really a unique initiative. You have 14 world leaders that have come together, and they are really working to foster sustainable production, protection, and prosperity for all.
To avoid losing the Arctic as we know it today, we must find a proper balance between the exploitation and protection of land and marine resources. The cooperation between Norway and Russia on fishery management in the Barents Sea is a great example, which has become known as the best managed cod stock in the world.
So I'm really pleased that both Norway and Canada have signed the agreement to reduce unregulated fisheries in the Central Arctic Ocean, and that we're also both on the forefront of the Arctic Council's initiative to reduce plastic litter in the Arctic Ocean. The Canadian and the Norwegian Coast Guard, they operate really closely in a number of fields, also operationally, and they work with other countries as well in the Arctic Coast Guard Forum. So, as Norwegian ambassador to Ottawa, I would really like for Norway and Canada to learn from each other to the benefit of the Arctic and to the benefit of our people who live in the north.